Alright guys, we are almost ready to jump into our next round. This round will be TIW, the Iron Wolves, versus DA, Das and Vol. Now Tav, what do you think about this matchup today?
Well, it's got two pretty interesting teams, and the first one being basketball. And I mean, really, what's there to say here? They're just coming off a victory in Community Clash as the world champions over the deviously evil European bracket winners, MCY. There's lots of jokes to be made about DA plus QRY plus Prey and Community Clash, but prior to that, Sandfall was actually really known for their very strong infantry play. So before all that drama actually happened, like they had already established themselves for exactly what this tournament is going to be, or this weekend event. They should be pretty dialed in right now for this sort of thing. They have a lot of experience. Even just recently with Community Clash, it was different, but it's different when you're actually competing versus just being good. As we all know, there's a difference between pub stomping and shooting when it actually counts.
Yeah, as we were really critical of, in the last round, neither team was really fielding light assaults, but Das and Fall is pretty famous for a couple of their light assault players.
Yeah, Vonic being the big one, right? Like, he's just a monster. He streams all the time. He's just going around, tooling kids up left and right, dipping around on towers. So hopefully we could see some of that. On the other side, though, we got the Iron Wolves. Jax's money crew. Although, actually, TIW guys would probably be a little upset for being called that. So keep that down. They're an outfit from Waterson server. They're NC. They were kind of the trifecta on the Waterson area between Nuck and TIW and Zaps, somewhat. That was supposed to be like the competitive server, and they were part of that. And then people kind of wrote them off and thought they were dead. I know I personally did. Like, they were just gone. But, they're back now. They did some new recruiting or retooling or whatever they did, but they're coming back strong, let me tell you. You and I both had scrimmed against them recently, and they were really good.
Oh, yeah.
So, I expect DA is probably the favorite here going in, right? But TIW is not going to be a walkover, and I would actually have no problems, if this was a CSGO bet, just throwing something down on them, because, you get good odds here, and I think they could actually do it.
Yeah, I think most people are probably going to go with DA on this one, but I do think TIW has the potential to surprise people today. I mean, they're a team that has been practicing a ton. Like, it seems like every time I'm on the test server to lament implants, they're scrimming someone. This is a seriously driven team.
Yeah, they definitely want to put their names back on the map, and I really hope they do, actually. We have a little bit of a startup competitive scene going on here, and we really need a strong NC outfit for people to look at.
Yeah, and as you and I found out in our experience scrimming them, they too, just like DA, seem to have a knack for light assault use. That was probably their top fragger in our scrims against them was a light assault player.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, some of those light assaults, they were nonsense. They were straight hackers. I should not have been dying to them like that. But they were there. They've been putting the work in. They're very good, and I'm actually really interested to see if they can pull this off against DA, because I don't know if you guys can see on the screen at the moment, but TIW has the very important Southern Sunder spawn. They won the coin toss. And they got to choose, and they chose that. So they're probably going to have pretty solid dominance over that C building. And if you have that, as we've been saying, you have a very good chance of winning the match.
Yeah, I expect to see kind of what we've been seeing most matches here, where the team that starts with the Southern Centers usually makes the play for C, and the one that with the top centers usually makes the play for D. And I got to tell you, the C start, it's got a huge advantage. I mean, you just have this commanding position to take B from, and D and A are they're not very defensible.
No, A is more of an extension of B and B is pretty easy to take if you control C, and D is just a trap that you should basically avoid unless you have the other 3 points.
Now, the one use of DA, though, is one of the best places on the map for light assault play. I fully expect to see a lot of back and forth action just on that roof, especially you know, that kind of crevasse on the top of the D building.
Alright, so I'm getting word that these guys are ready and giving them the go-ahead to start the 1-minute countdown. So while we got this 1 minute getting ready to go, I feel like there was a wrong that needs to be righted. On top of that C building last match was a brave engineer with an Eidolon, you know, the battle rifle. Apparently Orfex, shout out to him, he was doing work. And that's fine, I'm happy with that as long as he wasn't a sniper. Because as all Canadian snipers out there know, I hate them.
Yeah, they had, AC had a sniper last round and didn't really get to see a lot of use out of it. I mean, the problem with sniping in this kind of tournament is, you know, just you snipe someone, they get revived.
Alright, you all ready to start? Or you have started? So this opening is going to be very important.
And we're off. Looks like TIW, as predicted, is going straight for C with their whole team. They do have one player who went top. Appears to be a light assault making a play for D.
Yeah, on top of D it's like the natural habitat of light assaults in this base. And we see some light assault on light assault current.
He just got the upper hand in one DA light assault, but there's a second. Appears that they got a couple of guys, looks like 3 or so in C, TIW that is, and then they pushed out to B right away. And DA, on the other hand, is kind of up against the wall from the A side of B, mostly trying to push it to the top, and it looks like they're going to be able to get it.
Yeah, they might be able to flip it, but can they actually hold it for an extended period of time? Yeah, TIW actually has a little bit more of a presence on top of C than I would normally see. But they seem pretty content to not lose it ever.
Looks like BA has the advantage on B and is going to hold it. But DA will be very hard pressed to push into C from that direction. And, you know, there's a lot of guys on top of C just laying down fire.
Yeah, they get a couple of light assaults. DA does going on top of B building, but I don't know how effective they're going to be to actually try to shoot the guys on top of C.
It appears the entire TIW team that was reinforcing in from the centers decided to go with the northern spawn route, which is interesting. And it's given them a chance to kind of flank around DA. It's mostly entrenched in C point right now.
Alright guys, we have our first DA in a rock sighting. Hopefully it won't be our last. So yeah, TIW, they went to the D point, they're kind of holding it, but they're not really doing a very good job of actually using the railing to shoot basically the DA guys coming out of spawns. They're letting them slip through, get on that rock, and get around into A.
Yeah, it looks like TIW probably has the better position here. It's hard to say. You know, they've got kind of a surrounding position on the A and B points.
It's also kind of a weakness at the same time because they have C, which is a plus, but they have D, which is a minus, and they're not really spawn camping from either of the points. Now, you know, there's no spawn camping allowed in the rules as far as going in and getting on the sunders, but you can just sit on those rails and shoot them when they're coming out. There's only 2 spots to come in. But since all the DA guys are actually inside, if they do kill anyone, because that's where the majority of them have to be looking, they're just going to get flanked from the sides into these points.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest danger here is the possibility of DA reinforcing in through the south and flipping C. We actually
They're
see
doing
C
right now.
got contested.
See, there's a couple TIW guys, those DA guys spawning at the south right now, but they're not. What I'd like to see more often is more of a fight right here in this southern spawn area. See lots of crazy grenade action going on. It seemed like they're just content to let each other run into these buildings.
Yeah, you see some cute positioning with, you know, light assault use. You know, this building that's by the spawns in front of C, but yeah, it's mostly DA just trying to hold out over B. But it looks like TIW has flipped the point. There's DA guys around. I don't know how many.
They went into B, looks like in the lower area, and they're holding on to it, which is good. Now, at the same time, the same problem's going on. There's light assaults on the map, but none of them are actually on D. And as you and I know, D is the home for light assaults. Like, they need to be on there and dipping down and capping that point.
Looks like TIW has taken the advantage on the map. They got C, B, and A. And DA is mostly reinforcing in right now through the northern spawns. And it looks like they're going to try and make a push along the bottom, actually. Just try and push in through the bottom of A.
Yeah, it's a good play. You know, there's so much vantage points going on from B and C that you can't just walk along the railing out there. You need to go in, get close, throw pumps, do work inside, instead of trying to dip around and peek on the outside.
It actually looks like TIW is trying to contest their move into the A point, though. Got lots of grenades going on, lots of resonades and taunts. And it looks like TIW might pull out ahead of these.
Yeah, if they can hold that point for any extended amount of time, they can actually get the influence flipped on their side and make the stalemate that's going on in their favor.
Yeah, the capture bar, as we can see, is very close right now, but it is in the favor of DA. That should change soon enough here. However, DA is still contesting A lot of back and forth going on over this point.
What I'd like to see right now is DA. DA has great infantry, right? So they have to have some good focus. Now, I don't want anyone sniping because that would be bad. But if they had one guy go in as an infiltrator with an SMG, they could wreck house on the top of the C building and take it out, and then get a nice reinforced push from the spawns.
Speaking of the double, I actually see a DA infiltrator inside of the B point. So it looks like they are trying to go with a more diverse class setup than our previous teams were.
Yeah, and even though you can't throw darts, that's actually a benefit for cloakers that have SMGs, because darts are what pick them out and make it harder in this sort of competitive shooting. You can't do that. They can sneak or get stuck all day long.
Yeah, it's really hard to deny flanking when you can't cover the whole map with darts. And this is a pretty large map for the amount of players we have here.
Another thing that I'd like to see DA start to do if they want to establish the C building is you get some guys over in the A building, and instead of running them through B, run on the bottom and run on that side of the map and go in to see you in the angle that the other guys on the roof are actually probably not looking.
Well, we got a DA rocket primary just now, attempt on C. It looks like
a drink.
It looks like we've kind of reset this match almost with kind of the same place we were 5 minutes ago with TIW all stuck up in C.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of DA light assaults. I don't know, it's kind of weird. They're not really going on the roof and getting the angles that I think they could be taken advantage of.
Yeah, it's almost like they're playing too much like heavy assaults just without shields. Yeah, I mean, to really abuse their class, they gotta be taking these positions no one else can get.
I think it's pretty understandable for them to to act like heavy assaults on the roof of the building. You might have some experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main consideration here is just that it's hard to get a rooftop position when TIW has such a commanding position on top of C right now.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, like TIW, they're not doing anything with light assaults either, so it's not entirely DA here. Both of these teams are just... They can't be content to sit here with this... whatever matchup that they got, this stalemate, because, well, at least TIW shouldn't, because DA is winning.
Looks like TIW, though, is making a play for B. Probably be able to get this here.
If they can hold on to B for a little while, and actually, because you don't need as many people on C, I think, as they have. They can keep more of those guys in B, get an NG turret in there, get a little bit of a setup going so you can hold on to it for an extended amount of time. And if you have B, you can take A. It's easy.
We got another rocket primary there on an NG turret at A. I think that's another drink. And once again, we have DA just filtering in along the top of the map, trying to just go along the bottom and, you know, get positions around A and B.
Both these teams seem to be pretty content in being passive and not doing a little out of the box thinking here as far as where they want to attack.
Yeah, I think at this point it's going to come down to one team just getting a really good wipe on the other team, then being able to, you know, flip every point. It looks like DA is trying to kind of probe at the C building, and it's not going so well. They got a DA guy on a rock here. Not sure if that's another drink or not.
If it's not, it should be. However, you know, they make it a point, but it seems like TIW has such respect for the C building, and they don't want to lose it at all. So they're really committing like 4 guys at least. I keep seeing around here. I think there's 6 guys around the C building right now. A couple of them are on the lower level going into B, which should help, but there's so much presence in C. And the great part about C is it doesn't take that many people to hold. You just have to watch the exits.
Yeah, it looks like TIW is trying to branch out a bit now, and, you know, scaling back a little bit on the amount of people they have in C. Trying to put some pressure on, I guess, the bottom of B.
So I gotta say one thing right now is that, you know, I'm on VS character observer right now, and I can tell for the most part when the TIW guys are getting spotted, and they're not. There's a couple guys occasionally on top of C getting spotted, but in general, and I realize this is buggy lots of times, but everywhere else around the map, nobody's getting spotted, and I wonder if that's more of a problem of not having light assaults on vantage points doing it, or if it's an actual bug. But some are being spotted, just not all of them.
Yeah, it looks like TIW is actually taking an advantage in the amount of people that they have up right now. This may be their chance to even up the scoreboard here.
At the same time, they're losing C, or C's being contested probably more than they'd like.
Yeah, so we know at this point, if the match were to end, DA would be the victors. So the pressure's on TIW to get something done here.
There should be, you know, early on in the match there was an engineer turret on top of the C building. I haven't been looking in too much right now around inside the buildings, but I haven't seen any of the other ones. And I know Shock himself would be very disappointed in this sort of play. There used to be NG turrets and prox mines, baddies, all that stuff just sitting around everywhere, just waiting to get 3 kills.
Yeah, we do have a engineer in front of me on a pretty equal position with a turret set up. Looks like TIW in general is just kind of moved towards defending around the B point. But DA is pushing in A big time, and I don't think TIW is going to be able to stop him.
No, not while they having to keep sending people back to the C, whoever it is that's going in there. I don't know if it's a cloak or not. They're doing some work as far as at least distracting them. Just even running by and getting that flashing is going to freak those guys out on the roof.
Yeah, it looks like pressure once again is kind of on TIW here to get something done. I mean, they have the advantageous C and B position, but DA's got some turrets set up at A. You know, what seems like most of DA is currently alive and, you know, keeping pressure up.
I'm really disappointed in both teams though right now because at the very start there was Light Assault and Light Assault Prime on top of D, and that should just be continuing the entire match. It should be like a mini game between the two of who can establish dominance up there. But they've just left it alone to me that point.
Yeah, it seems kind of like TIW only has one Light Assault. I'm not sure if I've seen a second one, but I know DA has two. It seems like that's giving DA a pretty big advantage in this match.
Alright, we got a little sneaky DA action going along the outside of the wall, inside the map, but you know, there's inner walls there between the spawn points that's still within the walls of the base. No one's really watching back there. He kind of went around, he's going into C right now. Hopefully he doesn't sit on the point, he just goes straight up to the roof and snucks on those guys up there and takes them out.
Yeah, and there's only one TIW guy left up on top. He's down now. This may give a really big advantage to DA.
Yeah, it might give him the opportunity to close out this match, or at least get it to the point where TIW really doesn't have any hope of flipping it back in time.
Yeah, it seems like the situation is getting worse and worse for TIW. I mean, as important as the C building is, I think, you know, maybe they've been a little too serious about C. Loaded a little too many people to it. Not been active enough on the map.
Yeah, I totally agree. C is important, but it's also really easy to hold, and that's why it is important. You get one or two guys up there watching that south spawn route and then spotting around the map, you're good to go as far as holding it. And they've kept 5 or 6 people there almost the entire time.
Yeah,
and we got 5 minutes left. So yeah, 5 minutes left, and the way this is going right now, and I don't know, they'd have to have all 4 points for what, 2 minutes even to even get it back to 0? Good luck with that, the way this has been going.
I think it goes scratch to the map, but yeah, it seems like pretty much their chance of winning this match right now is that they would have to get a wipe on DA and just take every point. And you know, as long as DA pretty much just plays kind of defensively, I don't think that will be able to happen.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to be... They've done a pretty good job of holding on to B, but they need to have some sort of like 2-man crew or something that's always going to A or going to D, doing something to get that third clock going.
Yeah,
because as it is, TA is the one making progress here, and they're the ones already winning.
Yeah, it seems just like all they've really been doing to interrupt D is kind of a little bit of light assault play. You know, almost always when people are dying and reinforcing back in, they're coming in through the southern spawn. You know, straight back into the C building.
And in general, that is a tactic I would agree with. Like, that's the way you want to do it. Reinforce your strong point and always push out through there. That's how I have our guys do it. But like I said, you know, there's just too many guys in C. There's not enough presence anywhere. DA's free reign to walk over to the A point whenever they want and keep that 2 cap going.
Yeah, it looks like the point on A was being contested, but DA has a pretty strong presence outside the building. They'll probably be able to get that back. And yeah, it's pretty much it's cut along the lines, you know, CB, DA.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see much happening in the next 3 minutes to help
No.
DA here out.
Especially
help
not,
TIW.
because I mean, DA is probably, they have B, they have so many guys around B, they're even making a push into C. At this point, I'm not sure what TIW can do at all, even to hold on to C. Like, this is Neither team's actually done a very good job of containing spawns at all. But
Yeah, we've seen most teams are just kind of ignoring the spawn sites.
maybe it's confusion about the rule set. Could be. I'm not really sure. But I know when we're playing, you show your pretty little face outside that hallway, it's gonna get shot.
We actually do have the TIW triple cap going on right now. Question is,
There's
Is
only
there
a
enough
minute
time?
left. They're gonna have to have all 4 points to do this, and I don't see how they could even hold on to D, let alone D and A.
yeah.
But either
and,
way, you know, they did good. I mean, even though this is ultimately going to be a losing thing for TIW at this point, I think it's pretty fair to say. TA did not walk over them. They basically held their own. Maybe they showed too much respect to that C building, and it kind of ruined strategy for anything else. But I think it's been a pretty fair shooting fight.
yeah, I would say it looks like the fragging has been pretty even on both sides. I do gotta hand it to DA though for just having the better squad composition. You know, mixing in a little bit of infiltrator, having an extra light assault.
Yeah, I probably would like to see a little bit more engineer play though. Engineer's such a strong class for something like this. Like people just overvalue heavies and medics. I think yeah, it's great to throw medic grenades around and res everybody, woohoo. And then heavies have their shields, but you know, engineers and light assaults, they can do work, especially when people are actually really good shooters.
Yeah, especially with turrets and high places. And it looks like the match is over with DA as our victor.
Well, congrats to DA. Looks like we're gonna have a nice Matherson on Matherson VS finale, which should be fun.
Yep. Two very renowned infantry outfits, DA and AC. It should be a very good match. So yeah, stick around, guys.